Imagine discovering that a targeted 5-minute strength sequence offers superior protective advantages compared to a half-hour stroll. This isn't speculation, it's validated medical evidence reshaping how we approach aging. Recent groundbreaking research in the Lancet Public Health revealed something astonishing. Seniors who embraced short, focused resistance training experienced dramatically reduced hospital admissions and maintained autonomy much longer than those relying exclusively on cardiovascular walking routines. The evidence is undeniable. Just 5 minutes of precise neuromuscular activation beats 30 minutes of gentle ambulation when measuring the factors that truly determine whether you stay independent or require institutional care. While cardiovascular activity certainly benefits heart health, it simply doesn't activate the type 2 fast-twitch fibers essential for catching yourself during a stumble or rising unassisted from seating. These critical fibers vanish first with aging, and leisurely walking lacks the necessary load to protect them. The research findings shocked practitioners because they eliminated the biggest obstacle preventing senior participation. 91% of subjects could execute these functional patterns instantly, regardless of baseline conditioning or mobility restrictions. We're talking about a system requiring zero gym access, zero specialized gear, and merely 5 minutes daily to dramatically reshape your longevity outcomes. But before I reveal the exact movements, pause right now and drop a comment sharing your current age, plus one physical task you've been dodging lately because confidence in your body's ability has diminished. I personally review every comment to understand the real-world challenges you're navigating. Haven't subscribed to Healthy Tips Tricks yet? Hit that button immediately because we're delivering evidence-based longevity tactics every single day to preserve your freedom. Let's launch this system by enhancing upper body reflexes using the wall push-up paired with isometric tension. In clinical settings, I don't assign this for aesthetic muscle gains. I prescribe it for injury prevention and neural efficiency. Research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed resistance patterns like this boost upper body power by more than 30% in older populations. But the game changer is the controlled timing and mechanoreceptor engagement. When you trip forward, your capacity to avoid catastrophic skull trauma relies entirely on how rapidly your arms can brace and distribute your body weight. The hidden weapon here is that static pause. Position yourself one arm's distance from any wall. Descend slowly across 2 seconds, then sustain the lowered position for 3 to 5 full seconds. This stationary hold compels your proprioceptors, those position-sensing systems embedded in joints and connective tissue, to recalibrate completely. You're essentially rewiring your nervous system to stay solid under load. During that hold, you may notice trembling. That's your neurological wiring learning to activate additional motor units simultaneously. From upper kinetic work, we transition immediately to lower body mechanics, specifically addressing what geriatric specialists call the sixth vital sign, gait velocity. To safeguard this crucial metric, we deploy seated leg lifts with added resistance. Gait velocity powerfully predicts survival rates because it reflects central nervous system integrity plus iliopsoas muscle health. These deep hip flexors lift your thigh during each stride. Standard walking employs minimal range, which creates stiffness and atrophy in these buried muscles. By sitting upright with your spine flush against the chair back and elevating one thigh until horizontal, you're performing unilateral isolation that targets this overlooked region. This matters profoundly because it forces each limb to operate independently, fixing the asymmetries that accumulate across decades of compensatory patterns.
sustaining the lift for 2 seconds develops the exact strength required to elevate your foot sufficiently to avoid tripping hazards like carpet edges or sidewalk lips, directly stopping the shuffle step that causes falls.
Expanding on that hip foundation, we must tackle the most critical independent skill, standing upward against gravitational force. Losing sit-to-stand capacity is frequently the singular reason older adults transition into nursing facilities. To prevent this fate, we implement the modified chair squat. Biomechanically, this recruits your body's largest powerhouses, glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, synchronized with lumbar stabilizers. However, to shield arthritic knee joints, we must emphasize the hip hinge strategy entirely. Initiate by driving your hips rearward, visualizing closing a car door using your glutes rather than allowing knees to drift forward. This mechanical adjustment redirects torque away from vulnerable knee cartilage into the robust posterior chain designed for heavy loading. The neurological advantage emerges from what we term touch and reverse. Lower yourself across 3 controlled seconds until you barely contact the seat, but never sit fully and never release tension. Reverse direction immediately. This continuous tension generates a low oxygen environment, triggering growth factor release, but critically, it stimulates motor cortex plasticity. We're fundamentally reprogramming neural circuits to execute this action more efficiently. Start with 5 repetitions, prioritizing movement quality over depth. Mastering hip-dominant patterning means every daily stand strengthens rather than strains your knees. Descending anatomically, we address the peripheral heart, your calf musculature. We use this term because gastrocnemius and soleus muscles drive the venous pump mechanism, propelling deoxygenated blood upward toward the heart against gravity. Weak calves produce venous pooling, compromised circulation, leg swelling, and elevated clot risk. Beyond circulatory function, calf strength remains the strongest single indicator of whether you can recover from imbalance or a stumble. When equilibrium fails, your body's immediate reflex involves rapid plantar flexion, pressing toes downward for stabilization. If calves lack power, this protective reflex arrives too slowly. To address this, we use standing heel raises with balance integration. Ascend onto your forefoot, but the therapeutic intervention lives in the peak hold. We require 3 seconds balanced at maximum height while maintaining forward gaze, not looking downward at feet. This eliminates visual cues and forces your vestibular apparatus, the inner ear balance organ, to work harder. The vestibular system naturally deteriorates with aging, causing vertigo, but this drill rehabilitates it by coupling vestibular input with ankle stability. The descent phase must consume 3 full seconds, since this eccentric loading builds tendon stiffness and strength. 8 to 15 repetitions will enhance balance confidence more than miles of walking, because it specifically trains the instability threshold where falls occur. We finish the protocol with the most neurologically sophisticated pattern, the bird dog stabilization progression. This exercise generates substantial interest in longevity medicine because it simultaneously targets spinal integrity, bone density, and cognitive vitality. The pattern involves quadruped positioning while extending opposite arm and leg. This diagonal cross-crawl mimics natural spinal rotation during locomotion, activating deep stabilizers like multifidus and transversus abdominis without dangerous compressive spinal loads. It teaches the vertebral column to remain neutral and rigid while extremities move, the textbook definition of core stability. The science validates Wolff's law, stating bone remodels according to imposed loads. The tension from extending limbs delivers safe osteogenic stimulation to vertebrae and hip joints, signaling mineral retention.
Moreover, the coordination demands have been connected to neurogenesis, literal brain tissue growth. We're asking the brain to solve a complex motor challenge involving balance, proprioception, and muscular endurance simultaneously. The objective is forming a straight alignment from fingertips to toes, sustaining 5 seconds per side. Execute 4 repetitions each side. This remains the only movement targeting core power, equilibrium, and cognitive processing in one unified action, effectively reversing aging in the brain's motor centers. Examining this complete protocol, you see a comprehensive medical intervention compressed into 5 minutes. Wall push-ups for reflexes, leg lifts for stride speed, squats for functional freedom, heel raises for circulation plus balance, and bird dogs for spinal wellness. Execute this routine daily or minimally 4 sessions weekly. The priority isn't flawless execution, but progressive overload. It's irrelevant if modifications are initially necessary. What counts is delivering adequate stimulus to your neuromuscular architecture to reverse decay signaling. I must stress that the greatest obstacle to vitality isn't physical limitation, but adherence. This 5-minute system eliminates the barriers of time and equipment. It's a research-validated approach to pause the biological clock on fragility. I urge you to begin today, exactly where you currently stand. Honor your body's feedback, respect boundaries, but challenge your stability consistently. If this video delivered value, smash that like button and ensure you're subscribed to Healthy Tips Tricks for daily science-backed strategies. Please document your progress in the comments so our community can champion your journey toward greater strength and lasting independence. Thank you for investing this time, and remember that your autonomy is worth defending every single day.